There was a young man named Adrian Hale, a quiet soul who lived in a small gray city where people woke up tired, lived tired and slept even more tired. Nothing ever changed there. Days felt cloned. Dreams were considered childish illusions. And Adrian, like everyone else, walked the same path every day, believing that destiny was something already written for him. But deep inside he carried a silent fire, a fire he had hidden for years. Not because he lacked ambition but because every time he tried to rise, life hit him harder. Rejection, failure, loneliness, people telling him he was not enough. And slowly the world convinced him that maybe they were right. Everything changed on one stormy evening. Adrian was returning home when he saw an old bookstore's door slightly open. He'd passed that place 1,000 times but never once stepped in. Something pulled him toward it that night. Inside stood an old man with silver eyes, Master Kale, someone who seemed to know far more than the ordinary world allowed. Without looking up from his book, Kale whispered, "You carry a storm in your chest. Sid. The truth has been waiting for you." Adrian froze. No one had ever spoken to him like that. As he sat, the old man closed the book gently and placed his hand on it, as if sealing a lifetime of secrets. He said, "Everyone believes their life is small because they only see what is in front of them. But the universe responds to the one who demands more from himself. Your story hasn't even begun yet." That moment felt like the air itself shifted. Adrian listened, unable to blink. Kale continued, "You've obeyed the world far too long. Now obey yourself. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you could have been. Without it, dreams rot. With it, the impossible kneels." Those words entered Adrian like thunder. Something awakened, something he thought had died years ago. Before the old man could say more, he pointed to a dusty mirror on the wall. "Look," he said. "Everything you're searching for is already staring back at you." But when Adrian looked, he didn't just see his reflection. He saw two versions of himself. One weak, tired, bent by the weight of excuses, and one powerful, steady, with fire in his eyes. Kale whispered, "These two will battle for the rest of your life. Only one can survive." At that exact moment, right here in the story, I want to pause and speak to you, the viewer watching this video. If you've watched this far, it already says something powerful about you. You are not here for entertainment. You are here because something inside you knows you're meant for more. So do me one favor right now. Backhand index pointing right, subscribe to this channel, Timeless Truths. Because unlike 99% of motivational content out there, here you get something real. Stories crafted to rewire your identity, reshape your discipline, and rebuild the part of you that the world tried to break. Thank you for being here already. You're different from the crowd. Now let's go back to the story. After leaving the bookstore, Adrian felt electricity under his skin. As the rain fell on his face, he finally understood. The only person who could save his life was himself. That night he made a decision. No more excuses. No more waiting. No more surrender. Every morning at 4:45 a.m. he woke up. Day after day. At first he was miserable. His body hurt. His mind screamed. But a strange thing happened. The version of him in the mirror, the weak one, began fading. And the stronger reflection grew clearer. Weeks passed. Adrian learned to run before sunrise. He learned to study harder than anyone else. He trained his mind like a warrior, not to avoid pain but to walk through it. One day Kale found him again, not in the bookstore but in the middle of a park where Adrian was practicing breathwork under the morning sky. The old man smiled. "You've changed," he said. "Now you no longer seek the path, you create it." Adrian stood taller than he ever had. Lightning didn't strike. The earth didn't shake. But something inside him had become unbreakable. Kale spoke one final truth. There will always be storms. The question is, will you drown or will you learn to command the waves? And then he was gone. From that moment on, Adrian became a different force in the world. When life threw chaos, he moved with purpose. When obstacles rose, he faced them head-on. When people doubted him, he simply smiled. Because he knew what most people never learn. Discipline is freedom. Pain is the sculptor. And identity is a choice. Today, as you listen to this story, remember this. Your life can change in one decision. One moment of honesty with yourself. One refusal to remain who you were yesterday. And before this video ends, I want you to claim a truth for yourself. Not for me, not for anyone else, but for your own future. Backhand index pointing right in the comments. I choose the stronger version of me. Because the moment you write it, the old version of you begins to fade. And the new one finally steps forward. And that is your timeless truth.